Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 42 of the Centre Circle podcast. Today, you've got myself and Keith. How you doing?
Bad fella, you right?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I hope everyone had a good Christmas. Eating plenty, drank plenty, and getting ready to get back to the real world next week. As always, the football didn't stop, so quite a few games for us to talk through. A few spanners in the works, especially if you
Depends
support
what team you
Arsenal.
support,
Yeah, exactly. And one or two interesting tidbits on the side. Terrell may join us at some point. We'll see if he gets to grips with the internet today. So yeah, where should we start? You know what? I think we should start with Newcastle Forest. Because there's a little debate raging, Keith, about, should Eddie Howe be worried? Their run of form at the moment isn't great. And I think the added bit to that is who they've lost to, right?
Yeah.
And some of these results haven't been fantastic. Do you think, it's a bit like the Pochettino question I asked in the last podcast, do you think Mr. Howe's got anything to worry about?
No, I shouldn't think so. And I think the pressure is more coming from entitled fans, like we said that before. Like if you go back to last season, there's no way that Newcastle should have qualified for the Champions League in Eddie Howe's first full season as manager. And even if you go back to his signings like last season, he didn't make any kind of standout signings to say, yeah, Newcastle are going to be challenging. I thought they would have kind of been in that kind of 8th to 5th bracket, maybe. Yeah, definitely not having the season that they're having or that they did have. And I think now it's just where they should have been for like last season and this year. I think they would probably had like a 2 or 3 year plan to get in the Champions League and then maybe kick on from there, kind of like when Man City had their like big takeover all those years ago. So I could understand why there's pressure on him because of how well he done last season, and you become a bit of a victim of your own success. But yeah, I wouldn't put him under any pressure. But you know what football's like; anything can happen.
Yeah, but I think my thing is, expectations can move, right? So I understand everyone's been saying, well, they're ahead of schedule, it's done very well. But after the season you've had last year and the level of investment, etc., I don't think it's as simple as saying, "Oh, you're ahead of schedule, so it's all right." I think you're only as good as your last game. To use the old proverb. So, with a season like last year, if he just missed out on Champions League, maybe he gets a bit of a pass. But how they miss out and who they're losing to and the manner of those defeats, I think is something that would be looked at. And being ahead of schedule is one thing, but you've almost set the new schedule now, haven't you? So that's why I had one look at it and thought, if he's not careful, you don't want the ownership thinking that if they don't do something, they're going to get a bit of a regression here, or the timeline that they've brought forward might now move back to where it was, because there's too much money involved, right? There's too much at stake.
Yeah, but granted, they've only won. I think it's 1 out of the last 5.
Yeah,
but they're only 6-7 points off fourth or fifth.
yeah.
So, and every team has a bit of a blip. And a team like Newcastle, their blip won't be like the blip that Arsenal or Liverpool or Man City might have. And if they come out of this blip in January and they win 3 games on the spin, then they're back in contention. Like that's how the league is at the minute.
Yeah.
So halfway they get the season, based on last year, they might say, right, we don't want to be 8th or 9th in the league. But I don't think it's all doom and gloom. Like nothing's determined in December, January, is it? If they're in this position, pushing end of March, April, then you can be like, right, let's kind of have a conversation about, has Eddie Howe spent the money wisely? Obviously, he brought Tonali, and what happened with that? Like he couldn't foresee that. That's just one of those things that happen.
Yeah, that's upstairs, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You look at his other signings, Livramento, again, more one for the future, but he has played really well. Hall from Chelsea, again, you would say more for the future. Who else did they sign? in the summer. I think, yeah, that might have been.
Gordon, that was it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Gordon as well. I don't know. They signed.
Oh, that was
They
in
signed
January.
Gordon. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that was in
January. So he's
January.
been there
Mm.
nearly a year. So
That's true. It just felt like he didn't play for a long time. Harvey Barnes as well, but he's injured. So
yeah,
yeah, fair. There's a few bits and bobs. I do think you're right. I think there's a there's perspective, and right now the league is very accommodating because these slip ups, are they slip ups? Is it just the strength of the league, right? Because a slip up indicates that it's a game you should have won. You shouldn't be losing those points. But actually, the standard of league is such now. Aston Villa are what, third? Um, West Ham are doing well. They were sixth as of last night. So actually, the league at the moment is accommodating for these slip ups, and um, the less people are being consistent. So if I remember correctly, Liverpool have only lost one game now so far in the
that's right.
league.
Yeah,
So if you guys kind of limit those losses, then that's what's going to enable you to sort of pull away. Man City have had their losses and draws. Arsenal have now lost again. So yeah, you're right. I think he's not lucky, but if they take a holistic approach, you can actually just say, well, the standard is such, everyone is beating everyone. We're not expecting you to be losing to these teams at home.
yeah,
So that's still a convo to be had. But yeah, you're right. He'll point to injuries, he'll point to availability. But he had Wilson back, he had Isak back. So
yeah. I think
mm,
just Nottingham Forest were on job. Like
yeah. That's the
Newcastle
other
start.
side, right? You
Yeah,
got to talk about how good Forest were, yeah.
yeah. Newcastle started well. They got the penalty. Isak puts it away very confidently, and you just think
Mm,
not the first might struggle to get back in this game, but you could see they were willing to play on the counter, like the first one with Alanga where he shot instead of passing over to
mm,
Wood,
mm,
and then the second counter they had just after that where Gibbs White plays it through to Alanga. I thought he played it a bit too heavy, but then as Terrell said, maybe he played it that heavy so Elanga didn't have to think about what he could do. He only had one
mm.
option, and that was
Yeah,
to pass it back to
yeah,
Wood, who
yeah.
scored. And then Wood, the two finishes for his second and third.
I
I
just want
didn't
to know
think
who
he
that
had that in
was.
his locker. Yeah.
Who is that? Who is that? Who's that? Is that Chris Wood's twin? I know this is meant to Chris Wood, but I've not seen that. Have
No,
you?
but I don't think Newcastle seen it, and he played there for like a year or so. So, like, I
What are you
think they
saying?
might have been surprised.
What you say? Even his teammates are like, "Ah, we never saw that in training.
Yeah, like, what's
Like,
going
what's
on?
going on?"
But I would
Yeah.
say if the second goal, if it's anyone other than Dan Burn jockeying him, I think he might not
Mm,
score that. Like someone with
yeah.
a little bit more competency
Agility.
in defending, yeah,
Yeah.
a bit of
Yeah.
agility, yeah. But yeah, the second and third goals are really good finishes, man.
But the way he chopped him and then clipped it I said, what? What is going on there?
Yeah,
So yeah, but again, you know, a bit of influence, but you go to your old team, the revolution came, he dropped me out, you know. He had added motivation, innit? He had added motivation. I think Nuno's played on that. And I love seeing that stuff, man. I love seeing a player go back to OT that dropped him out and he just turns up. But do it again. That's my thing.
yeah,
That is my thing.
Yeah.
He's here.
Wait,
He
wait.
made it through the jungle of the internet.
Yeah.
How's it going?
What's happening?
Not bad, not
You know
bad.
me, I need half an hour to an hour to set up everything.
Yes, to do things that in 2023 we've been doing for some time. No worries, no worries, no worries. Anyway, now you're here, we just finished off the Newcastle and Forest game. We're gonna move on to Brighton Spurs, which was Brighton 4, Spurs 2. A result that I don't think many of us saw coming. Well, I didn't personally. I thought Brighton might win. I didn't expect it to be 4-0 at one point. And I'm sure De Zerbi is livid with those last two goals, to be honest. T, did you see this game?
Yeah, I caught some of the game, and then obviously I switched over to Arsenal, but caught the highlights as well. I think because Brighton have been a bit it's a bit that we didn't think this was going to happen, but it's still got a good team. Still, De Zerbi's there. He's doing his thing. They was at home. Tottenham still with 4 fullbacks in the back line. So
Mental.
Yeah, injuries is killing them, man.
I don't think it was that far fetched to say they could get something out of that game. 4-2, but maybe not
But
that.
two of the goals are ill discipline. You give away 2 penalties. That's got nothing to do with the full. Like, Kulusevski's penalty was. I don't know what he's doing. It was almost like laziness. He couldn't be bothered.
Yeah,
For those who haven't seen it, he literally just stands there and pulls down his Welbeck shirt so hard that he didn't have to do much to fall over. He made it easy for Welbeck to fall backwards. He's not challenging him. He's literally standing there, just pulling his shirt. It's ridiculous.
Definitely laziness. Definitely.
He is, isn't it?
Yeah, like he switched off, isn't it?
Yeah. And then the second pen is a little bit schoolboy. He just sticks his leg out, chips up the player. It's just, I don't know. I think you take away those 2 goals, and then one's a screamer, a Stupian. I was gonna put in my fantasy team as well. I thought, it's your first game back. You just come back. So you don't stop those. Big Ange might have said someone should be closing him down a lot quicker. There's probably for me 2 of very, very avoidable goals, and then you're looking at a 2-2. And I know football doesn't work like that. It's not that subtractive, but do you know what I mean? Everyone's going to talk about the injuries and stuff first. When you actually look at the goals, there's 2 very avoidable goals there. Like, it's a discipline thing there.
Yeah, very much so. And even just on the 4 fullbacks starting, I know we said like Eric Dyer is not the best player, centre back, but why not just play a dedicated centre back who's someone who knows the role well, who could potentially lead the line, even if I know he likes to play a high line, even if you drop off like 5 yards just so you save Eric Dyer being in a foot race with someone like Pedro. I'm sure he can keep up with Welbeck because Welbeck's kind of kicking on a bit now. Just have a bit of control in the line, innit? Like it was very, very weird to me. And even the first goal, like the ball gets passed along the line really easily for Hinchelwood to slap it in the net. And again, he's like another young player who Brighton are not afraid to put on the pitch and play, like 18 years old.
Yeah, he was free at the back post. Yeah. But the way he controlled it and slapped it, he said, listen, I'm scoring, yeah. That goal bonus is coming in tonight. Yes. Look, we talked about, I said it at the beginning of the season, I didn't think Spurs were definitely weren't going to be a title challenge. And I actually thought it was going to be a little bit tough for them to maintain a Champions League challenge, because I just didn't think they had enough depth in their squad. They didn't have enough players to do that. And, Andrew's going to need some time to get enough of his type of player in. Are we seeing a little bit of that now? Are we seeing the normal injuries and all that stuff kind of washing through?
Yeah, I just don't think their squad is good enough. Like we've mentioned it before, first 11, they could go toe-to-toe with most teams in the Premier League. Don't think there's a doubt about that. But if they don't back Ange in the January transfer window, I'd be very surprised. I think they got to go for at least 2 centre-backs, and 2 centre-backs who are competent players on the ball.
Who has he signed? Who did he
Madison.
sign?
Madison, Johnson.
I'm taking Madison out because everyone knew about Madison, innit?
Yeah. So Brennan Johnson, Van der Ven.
Yeah,
Vicario.
And he's essentially kept Udogie, because Udogie was brought last year, sent on loan back to Atalanta, but he's kept him back and played him.
I think the goalkeeper and the centre-back signing alone, they should back him.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think
they need to back him, and back him kind of heavy, because he definitely knows what he's doing.
The talent ID's there, isn't it?
Yeah, if he gets another 3 players in or something, the same sort of caliber, what he's already signed, Tottenham could be serious contenders for that top 4 anyway.
And is it too simplistic to say, you guys are doing 1 game a week, man? What's the problem? You ain't got no Europe. What's it going to be like once you get friends with Europe? Is you just going to crumble like this? So all the other teams you're kind of running against, they've got Champions League, they've got Europa League, they've got UEFA Conference. They're playing
if they
twice
had
a week.
Football, this season, they'll be in trouble.
Oh yeah, massively. Yeah, I think you've got to take the free hit of not having European football. I think like in Klopp's second season, we had no European football, and we kind of struggled. I think we didn't like qualify for the Champions League until like last game of the season, I think it was. And yeah, when you're a team that's been in the Champions League and you want to get back there, not having Europe it's like a wild card handing to you, isn't it? Like, go ahead and do it. So I think they'll be very disappointed if they're not in the challenge for top 4 come May.
Yeah, I think they're going to be in the challenge. I just think they're going to fall short. I really do. But again, you say this 3 days before the transfer window opens. So let's see what everyone does. Let's see how they move and shake. I think you'll get some back in. I think the good thing for Daniel Levy is, Postecoglou is not he doesn't strike me as a name brand manager. He'll have types of players he wants.
Yeah.
He's not going to go and ask Levy to sign anyone for 100 million or 90 million. And we know Daniel Levy is not the flushest with his wallet. So I think actually, yeah, judging on Postecoglou's history, he'll have types of players he wants from certain places. They will probably tend to be at the lower end of the transfer market. So maybe he can get some work done in Jan and bolster his squad, and take it from there. Brighton, though, I mean, they went for a little bit of a dip. Seem to be back now. João Pedro is knocking them in. Good penalty taker. I think he's got 10 penalties in a row in the Prem. 11 now, actually. Yeah, so he's proven to kind of been emerging like a strong player for them. Obviously, Mr. Ferguson's their young player going to come through. Welbs is doing his thing there. What is the ambitions, Brighton's ambitions? What's a realistic good season for them? We've got to take this in context of the conversation we've had about all the other teams, right? There's only one 6th place. There's only one 5th place. There's only one 7th place. So what's the realistic?
They got to stay in those European places. Realistically.
Yeah. So just repeat what they did last season, Europa League, yeah?
Yeah, they're an established Premier League team now, and as long as De Zerbi's there, I think they'll continue to do that. And then the push is to become a team that's challenging for European places constantly. I think that's what they want. They just need to sort out their consistency. I don't think they've won back-to-back Premier League games since September. And that's the thing that's kind of killing them. And again, they're not even that far off in terms of like league positions.
No, so they're 8th at the moment. Yeah. 30 points, 1 point behind Manchester United, 3 points behind West Ham, and 6 points behind Spurs. So yeah, it's not a mad spread. Not a mad spread at all.
Yeah. I think if they can get that consistency back, that they kind of showed toward the back end of last season, and even if you win like 2 or 3 games on the trot, like I said earlier with Newcastle, it makes a whole world of difference to your league position, just because you know the other teams around you may not win 2 or 3 games on a spin as well. So
yeah, and also depends who those games are against, right? So yeah, okay. So moving on quickly to Arsenal 0, West Ham 2.
Hey.
I mean, I don't know. I have a slightly, even though historically, I don't know if you guys ever remember me saying this, I've never really got to grips with this home and away thing in football. I think we play too much on it. I think, you should go there and play your game. This home thing and away thing. However, I support a team that seems to have a little bit Jekyll and Hyde at home, super safe, super sure, play a certain way. When we go away, we still try to play that way, but it's not with the same amount of confidence, etc. So West Ham at home, I'm thinking, yeah, West Ham have been on stuff. Kudus and Bowen have been doing their thing. But to lose 2-0 to West Ham, even with VAR doing another bit of nonsense, I just think we got to start having some serious conversations about our teams finishing. It's not good enough. And everyone's going to talk about Jesus, but it's not just him. It's not just him.
Yeah, it's the front line, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone's got to finish, not just him. Yes, he had one. He had one opportunity yesterday where he has to hit the target. Like that header at the back post. You got to hit target there. You have to hit
This
target.
time this jump. This time this jump
Yeah,
altogether.
so hit target. But other people had chances. Bukayo Saka hit the post. Again, he hit the post unlucky. Nah, you hit the post. It wasn't on target. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I know a lot of the emotional reactions in WhatsApp groups yesterday. Jesus this, Jesus that. For me, we can't have it both ways. We can't say we're a team that spreads us the goals. The way we don't take chances, you start blaming one person more than others. And I don't think he had more chances last night than anybody else. I didn't see the entirety of the game, but from the highlights I saw, 3 or 4 different players could have made an impact on that game.
Yeah, I think it's a case of not being reactionary, innit? Because if you take the season in its totality, Arsenal are having a really good season,
Yeah,
and every team is just going to have potentially games like this.
I agree.
Both the goals that West Ham scored were against the run of play, and Arsenal had a lot of the ball. Like I say, it was just the final third is where they just couldn't deliver. And on another day, you win that game 2-3, 4-0, like easily. Like you run away with it. With the amount of possession and the chances you had. Yeah, I think you run away with it. But like I said, these games will happen, man. No one's gonna go through the season steamrolling every team and winning every game that you're expected to win. So
No, and I guess, and T, tell me what you think about this, but it's not necessarily the loss. It's like the Villa thing all over again, yeah? If we go somewhere and the team lock us up, we don't really make chances and we lose the game, cool, not cool, but you can have a different conversation. But when you do make chances and you've got so much of the ball, etc., you're not taking them, that's where the problem is for me. Do you know what I mean? But if we go somewhere we don't play well and the team locks us up, cool. They've done their job. We haven't done ours, fine. But when you're watching a game like that and we got chances and we're just wasteful, that's when it's frustrating for me as a fan anyway. T, I don't know what you think, but
I think it was just an off day all round, man. Like everyone just looked stale, like tired, a bit lethargic. Didn't know what to do. Nothing was connecting. First game that we've seen, Rice didn't looked off the pace.
maybe the emotion of playing West Ham in it as well.
Maybe I don't. Nah, I can't.
Remember, we played them at their ground, lost at their ground in the Carling Cup. I want to say, well, it's not the Carling Cup anymore, Carabao Cup. I want to say, was that FA Cup? One of the cups, right? It was Carabao, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too much of a coincidence that it's been, no matter how we've played, he's been a standout, and then his old mates turn up, and it all seems to get a bit much of it. And that penalty he gave away, I mean,
had to be
so
Rice, innit?
yeah. Sorry, T, go on.
Yeah, no. So I'm looking back to the games that we've lost before, notably Villa, where we looked really good, but we didn't take chances.
Yeah.
This one was like we just looked poor. We just looked off the pace. It looked like we just was never going to score. Odegaard was. People are cussing him, saying he's just trying. I'm just seeing him try. I'm seeing him try. I'm seeing him
I agree.
try and forcing the ball through, trying to get something to happen, but nothing was really connected at all.
Yeah.
And I think one of them, those kind of games, you see like the opposition laps it up. They're fine with sitting all the way back, just waiting for you lot to mess up, and then just win. Like, but I just feel like it was a still performance. I'm not going overboard. We know that Jesus isn't the cannon in front of goal. We know that he'll get a couple, but he ain't going to get every single chance. He's going to put it away. Martinelli, same kind of thing. Saka, he's been off a bit. I don't know. Like I just feel like it was an off day, to be honest.
No, I agree. I don't know Odegaard point. I agree. I mean, again, from what I saw, he was one I was trying. Chance creation. That chance he created for Trossard. Again, you got the ball at your feet. It's great opening for you. You're basically on the 6-yard line. Hit it straight at the keeper. Do you know what I mean? So even if it was an off day, with the chances we create, that's where we should be saying, right, we've left with a point, or we've smashed and grabbed with the chances that we create. But you actually look at the chances that were kind of created. So yeah, I agree. I saw someone that tried. I saw someone that ordinarily, when he would offer the ball, he said, no, actually, I'm gonna make the pass that leads directly to the opportunity, unless I do have to now make the pass that then makes the next pass. So a lot of the time, he gets the ball in the area, takes a touch or two, and he's hitting it into Saka. He's on that right hand side. But there were a couple of times on the right side of the penalty area where he would have played out wide, and he said, "Nah, actually, I'm going to turn again. I'm going to try and fashion some space, and I'll get this ball into the danger area." So, yeah, you could argue too little, too late. But yeah, just enough there. And you're right, Keith. You've got to look at it in totality. I'm just starting to get. I think the best way I can explain it is I'm looking at everything from the lens of winning the title, right? If you look at it just in terms of a season and your overall record, last night is not a catastrophe. It's not, right? But when I mention things like that game and how we're not taking chances, pretty soon these things add up. These things add up, and then before you know it, you're in March, and you're 3 or 4 points away from the leader. You're now in a bit of a three-way scenario. So every time one of these games happen, it's not catastrophic, but I'm just thinking, right, that's another dent. That's another dent. That's all it is. And don't get me wrong, Liverpool will have theirs. Everyone will have theirs because the way the league is now, I was saying earlier, T, the league's very accommodating at the moment because everyone keeps losing to everybody. So actually, your slip up isn't that big of a slip up because everyone else is slipping up. Right?
Remember, yeah, we just need to be there come the end, the ending of the season. We just need to be there.
Yeah.
The 1 point behind Liverpool, or 3 points behind them, or 3 points behind City, or something like that, is never the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. We're in a title race.
Yeah.
It's a more competitive league. I say competitive. It's just that, yeah, like what you said, people are losing left, right, and centre, whatever. It's more
Compact,
it's competitive, innit? Anyone can lose to a West Ham. Anyone can lose to a Brighton, a Newcastle, a Tottenham, a
Villa,
Chelsea, Villa. Like last season, it wasn't like that. So this season, and it is genuinely, even though we're still saying a 3-horse race, but the others ain't that far away. Still, they're not that far away. So we just need to bear that in mind and know that when it's 10 games to go or something like that, we need to be within that 3 point, 2 point, 1 point mark. We need to be there, whether we're leading or we're thereabouts. We need to be there. So we have.
I think 10 games.
That's it.
I think 10 games to go. If you're 4 points away, you can still put pressure on.
Of course,
I think you're a win and a draw away. I think you can still put pressure on. I think when you start getting to 5, 6 points, it's not really in your hands. Too tough because the team that's made it 28 games in at the top, if you're 5 points away from them, they've got a level of consistency that means it's unlikely that you're going to now get a 6-point swing out of them. But I do think if you're 3, 4 points away, that you can apply the pressure and keep applying that pressure. And then if there's 2 or 3 of you doing that, then it's a different ballgame, right?
Yeah. Can I just get your take on something, you two, obviously? So I just looking, based on what we said on Sunday about the squad depth and the quality of the squad. So I just went over Arteta's signings. So he's made 29 signings since he's become manager.
Yeah.
I think it's technically 26 because they counted loans and those are loans that have become permanent twice or whatever. So I said, I think you've got 6 players out of those 26 essentially that have improved the squad. And I think they are Rice, Partey, Tomiyasu, Odegaard, Gabriel, and Ben White. I think Zinchenko started off well, but I think he's fallen off.
Nah,
so
Zinchenko has to be on the list. He has to be on the list.
Because
it's form. It's form. No, but it's form.
Wait. Let him land first because.
Okay, go.
The reason why I didn't have Zinchenko is because I know you said it's form, but this has gone back to last season. Like you can see the back end of last season, he was struggling a little bit. And I haven't included Jesus just because of the goals number. As a player, he's fine, but I don't think he's contributing enough to say, right, he's done enough to be. So do you think a record of 6, 7 signings out of 26 is good enough?
So I think it's at least 8, right? I think you have to include Jesus. I'm not his biggest fan, but you have to include, not forget. If you look at stats, yes, but if you watch Arsenal, the dynamic he brings to the team when he's playing and when it isn't there when he's not playing is talking cheese, right? So I think it's 8. And to be honest, is 8 out of 26 signings for someone who's in his first managerial job, is it bad? I would answer that in two parts. I would say no, but I did want him out. What his signings and what they had or hadn't done was one of the reasons I wanted him out. Some of the decisions he made about incumbent players when he got here, right? But at the same time, even if he's only out 26, that got him to challenging Manchester City for the title in his third season as a manager, right?
Mhm.
And for me to really understand how good or bad that is, I need to see what the success rate of other people's signings are. So I would need to see how many players Klopp has signed, how many players Pep signed, how many of them have been a success, Mourinho, etc. And then you kind of gauge it that way. But just taking it as a normal and saying 8 out of 29, on the face of it, it sounds bad and it sounds minimal. But I'll be honest, you'd have to say yes, it's a success because he's now been the only manager apart from Klopp to mount a credible challenge to Pep Guardiola the whole time he's been here.
Yeah, fair enough.
Did you mention Tomiyasu?
Yeah, he did.
He was in
And you know what? Tomiyasu, T, what do you think? I think Tomiyasu, he makes that list like recently. You know, like, I think he makes that list back in the last season.
Injuries, that's why.
Mm.
To be honest, everyone you mentioned, if they're all fit, is starting.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
you have to kind of shoehorn. It's a toss-up, Ben White and Tomiyasu, innit? But still, everyone's a starter. But like what John said, we would have to see what other managers, because that's when it gets a bit sticky. When you call out other managers, especially mine, it gets a bit.
I'm just putting it out there, innit? We're here for the open
No,
debate.
it's a good piece of analysis, but
Yeah.
I would love to see Klopp's.
I
I'd
wanna
love to
see
see,
and see other people's list.
Yeah, I'd love to see Pep's and Klopp's and see what the success rate is. I don't think Pep's is a bit higher.
Yeah. No, I don't know. You know, I think Pep's had a lot of duds. You know.
Yeah,
especially in that first season.
Had a lot. He's had a lot, but the ones that work for him
really work.
Yeah.
That's what I think is the same with Arteta. The ones that have worked. Like they've transformed the team. Like you haven't included Jesus, but Jesus has come in and semi-transformed that team again. So has Zinchenko. When Jesus and Zinchenko came in last season, it was like a whole different kind of animal. Do you know what I'm saying? So
you didn't put Ramsdale.
Yeah, Ramsdale. He transformed the team as well.
But last season, we can talk about the end of the season, but let's be honest. Like people were saying, he's a relegated keeper, blah blah blah. But he played his part last season. Yes, he made some mistakes, but as you said yourself,
he made some good saves. He made some.
Yeah. And so I think you'd have to probably go 9 if we're being like super objective about and taking recent form out of it. If you just say from the day the signing was signed to today now, you probably go 9. You could probably go 9. Yeah, you could probably go 9, I would say, because he was a big part of that last season. Even though he was a part of maybe why we didn't win the league, but he was a big part of us being in a position to lose the lead in the first place, right?
Not just 9 okay signings or decent signings, 9
good signings,
top level signings for Arsenal. That's done the business in terms of challenging for the Premiership against arguably the best Premier League team ever. So
we're gonna have to have a conversation about City being the best top 5 league club.
We challenged them with all those guys that you said that Arteta signing. We challenged that City team, the treble City team, with those players, and just about fell short in the last 10 games.
Yeah.
So I'm taking that as Arteta knows what he's doing when he's signing players. And even this season with Havertz and that, now we're starting to see Havertz playing properly. I will say playing how he probably was playing in Germany or whatever. Like that's how he looks like he's got the fire back.
Yeah, so, I think you might be adding Havertz to that list in a few months, Keith. I think you might be adding Havertz to that list in a few months. Quick digression, yeah. How many Champions Leagues do Man City need to win before we start talking about them in the top like historic European sides?
I think just 2 probably.
What, 2 more or 2 in total?
No, I think all they have to do is win another one.
I'm with you, man.
During the Pep era, like another one and they've done like he's basically done what Alex Ferguson done. How many years was he there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that's fine.
true.
Yeah.
Juve
And to be
have
fair,
only
like he's
won 2 in our lifetime, innit? In our sort of era, Juve have only won 2,
yeah.
I
or
think
maybe
it's.
even 1.
I think if they win more than 2, that's
Okay,
yes.
I just wanted to check because we're gonna have to have that chat, man. If they win another Champions League
I don't think
and
they.
they win another league,
I don't think they will. Though. Well, not now anyway. And then Pep's gonna go, and then I think that's it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, he
but I
said
think
he's
Pep's
staying
there
until
too.
26. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's staying until the end of
Oh,
the
he's staying
contract,
till
isn't it?
26.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I think once he goes, that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like they'll still be at a good level because
yeah.
they'll have the power to sign players, and then they've got that little bit of recency history when new
Mm.
kids are coming up. They want to play for City now, innit?
Mm.
But in terms of being that machine, I don't see them like doing that. They might have
The only
one-off.
thing I would say to that is whoever becomes the next top guy, right? So there's always a little band of them. It was Pep, Jose, whatever, right? In this next group, Arteta, Klopp's already in that kind of knocking on that door. I think one more Champions League and he's in that group. But Arteta, De Zerbi, all these lot, whoever's the best of them, Man City's just going to go and get them. If Nagelsmann actually lives to his thing, so
Yeah.
I think that whatever version of the best at that time, City
Yeah.
will make sure they're in that convo because they'll go and get that manager.
Yeah. Just throw P at them.
I honestly believe if Arteta stayed at City and he took over from Pep,
Yeah.
they would have been the same machine.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And I feel like they just would have won Prems again. I don't know about Champions League. I'm not going to give him that much credit, but definitely you would have scooped up a couple premierships.
All right. Cool. Right. So back to the Prem schedule. Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 2. You know what? I've been enjoying the Manchester United debacle, yeah. But it's nice to talk about a positive Manchester United situation for once. Yes, at one point, Aston Villa were 2-0 up at Old Trafford.
Battering them.
Absolutely running that game. John McGinn's goal, he swings in a free kick from the right-hand side and it just goes all the way through, and skips past Onana. And that goal
what's funny?
was symptomatic of Manchester United.
Yeah, like Leon Bailey, like talking to Onana, in it, like before the ball, because he was standing in offside position.
Yeah. And again, it's a bit of a loose connection, but you see that goal going, it's like that is you lot right now. Literally, the ball swings in and goes into the net. Onana doesn't step out, kind of goes past him, and then the second goal, I can't remember which defender it was, but he's free at the back post, literally no tracking, just waltzes in like a burglar, knocks it down.
Is it Langley? They say.
Yeah, no, Longley. Yeah.
And then Longley, yeah.
And then Donka does a cheeky finish. They can't catch a break. Man's finishing like old school Mancini in their box. I don't understand.
Outside the boot things, isn't it?
Ah, bruv, crazy. So first half, I'm thinking, same old story. I've got my banter ready for the boys in the group.
I flew off the rails. I did.
Yeah, you went. Yeah, you went head first.
It happens.
Went too quick.
Yeah, but then second half, the fight back is on. Some quality from Garnacho. Absolute quality. I think the stuff works. People have been expecting to see from him, but he's a young player. He's going to be inconsistent, right? He's got that wonderful overhead kick a few weeks ago. Rashford plays a part in the goal. Finally turned up. And then, so he scores 2 goals, and then Marcus Hoyland finally gets a Premiership goal. He looked like he was going to fly off into the moon, bruv. Like, I've never seen such relief.
Like, you can tell that it's been playing on his mind. He's like, I need this goal. I'm being compared to that guy on social media. I need it.
Yeah, I mean, you're 20 years old. You've got the weight of Manchester United as their leading forward on your shoulders. It can't be easy, right? Can't be easy at all. So what do you think was different from the first half to the second half? What do you... I've got a few views from the Villa side, but
I think
for those of you that watched the game, what did you see? Came out second half, Man United. What were you doing that you weren't doing first half?
I think Villa thought they're playing stupid Man United. again.
I think they thought the
2
game
0
was
up.
won, innit?
Yeah, 2-0 up. We're cool. They're rubbish. We're just gonna go out there, see this out, probably get a couple more goals, go back to thingy. But yeah, just a bit of bloody effort that day from Man United. A bit of effort, a bit more running, a bit more. You know what I'm saying? And then they
Yeah,
got
a
their
bit of
goals.
intensity, weren't there?
Yeah, just a bit of intensity, and I think Villa was a bit lax in the second half and thought that the game had been won.
Keith, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty much the same. You can see that Villa kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit. Again, the high line, when you got pacey players like Garnacho and Rashford, the high line is gonna come to bite you. And it's like, yeah, Man United was like, right, let's just go and try and play football. And it's funny that we're saying that this was their best 45 minutes of football this season, and we're in December. It's like it's taken them how many months to work out that they can actually play decent football. And if they had played football like that earlier in the season, they might be in a high position. Like, obviously they're not that far off. They've had like really good runs, etc. But it's not just about winning. Sometimes it's about how you win, isn't it? So yeah, I think if they can kick on from this, they'll be challenging from top four. But we've seen that Man United, they can have a really good win and then lose at home to Bournemouth. So
Yeah,
I think that's what they've got to do in it. Again, like
all
Brighton,
the fans crashing down.
find the consistency. Once they find the consistency, they'll be all right.
I think what was interesting is towards the end of the first half, you could see Man United were getting into it. They were playing some good football. They were creating some chances. So I was like, okay, it's a little bit too little, too late, and maybe at best you get a consolation. Or if this is a great comeback if you make it 2-2, right? But you could see signs towards the end of the first half, and I just wondered, and I thought, no, actually that's a lie, because Aston Villa have been so good. I wasn't thinking about Emery changing anything. I actually was like, well, yeah, games are going to swing. Then come second half, in hindsight, Emery being, the tactician that he is, I think that feeds into what you guys are saying. So far this season, when we go in the lead, we win. We lock it down, we do what we're doing. Whereas Man United like to play on the counter a bit. They've got the speed. The front three are very fast. Actually, do you then adjust? Do you do what they did to us? Do you adjust, drop your line a bit, make them come in? And we know Man United are not good in that situation. They're not good against low blocks. They're not great at penetrating sort of late in the box, right? And some of what you guys have said of, every time we've taken a lead, we've kept hold of that lead, we're decent with a bit of form, etc., etc. Even though I've got key players out, Douglas Luiz and the other centre midfielder, I think an adjustment in that tactic could have had a massive effect on that game. I think if he moves that high line, or if he just adjusts things a bit and takes the sting out, or removes some of that space for that counter attack to be so effective, I think it changes things slightly.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like, we praise Emery all the time, but you're not going to get your tactics right 100% of the time, are you? There are going to be games where you think things are fine as they are, and it just turns out that it's not. And that's just what happened in that second half. I think he'll be very disappointed at giving up a 2-goal lead, considering how well and how organised they were against, say, Manchester City and Arsenal, to then kind of take a 2-0 halftime lead at Old Trafford and then kind of capitulate a bit. Yeah, he'll be a little bit upset. But again, totality of the season, Aston Villa are in a really good position where I'm sure they didn't expect they would be there. So take it on the chin.
Indeed. All right, and the last one for this episode: Sheffield United 2, Luton 3. Now listen, yeah, when the gods are on your side, I'm gonna say it now. I don't know if Luton go down. I'm not gonna lie. It's too much. How many games in a row now? And then they win a game 3-2. So Sheffield United 2, Luton 3. Cut a long story short, Luton win this game courtesy of 2 own goals. They were 2-1 down,
So
and they win the game courtesy of 2 own goals.
So who goes down?
I think Sheffield United, Burnley, And let me look at the table quickly.
I'm not
I
saying
think-
that they're going to stay up, but I think if one of them was going to stay up, it will be Luton. I think it will be in the bottom three, but if one of them were to stay up, I think it might be Luton.
I'm gonna say I think Forest are still in danger.
Forest is still in danger.
Yeah, Everton are a point behind Forest, but I think over the next 20 games it's gonna even itself out, right? Or 19 games gonna even itself out. So I'm going for, if Luton stay up, Forest are gonna replace them. That's what I'm going for.
Bold, 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 bold.
That's what I'm gonna go for, because it's just there's too much rolling for them. Way too much rolling for them. Way too much. Way too much. But either way, it's a good effort. Sheffield United, they're goners. 9 points after 19 games, minus 32 goal difference. Burnley, 11 points. I think Sheffield United are good as gone. I think Burnley are as good as gone. And also Luton have a game in hand. They haven't played that game, remember?
No, yeah, of course.
So if they win again or get a draw,
Who's that
as things stand... Sorry?
Against City?
No. It was the Bournemouth game when the guy collapsed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah. So they got to replay that Bournemouth game. Anything could happen. So all else being equal, that a win there will take them above Everton and Forest. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So
Go back to the first 5 games of the season.
Listen,
Do you think that would happen?
Just remember, I said I'm not. Isaac's going to be making an apology. He might be making an apology. I think Isaac might be making
get
an
into
apology.
an on-air one.
Trust me. All right, and I guess go on.
It might be above Palace goal difference.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's crazy. And I guess lastly, some news has just broke through, slightly wider. Carlo Ancelotti signed a new, Fabrizio Romano said Carlo Ancelotti signed a new contract to 2026. So I guess the Brazil situation is not happening. And I'm not surprised, because the pressure of being the first non-Brazilian to manage Brazil would have been a lot.
Yeah, even for someone established like him.
Yeah, it would have been a lot, man. It would have been a lot. And there's high expectations of Brazilian coaches with Brazil. You're supposed to win the World Cup every time. You're supposed to win Copa America every time. So you come in as a foreigner and you don't do both of those things. Yeah, it could have been techie. And why leave Real Madrid now? All the young players are coming through. Got a great team there. He's got a great chance to win another Champions League and cement that part of his CV even further. Why would you leave now?
Very true, very true.
So yeah, interesting going forward for Mr. Ancelotti. All right. That's it from us for this episode. We'll be back with the New Year's Day fixtures and thoughts on those. So yes, you're seeing a lot of us at the moment. We're keeping it coming in line with the games, and then in the new year we'll be back to our regular once or twice a week slots. So please like, comment, subscribe, share, and we will see you next time.
Peace.
Cheers.
Peace.
Right.